Mercedes is no doubt one of the best car companies, but have you heard about its new exposure? Did you listen to Verstappen just expose Mercedes upgrades for the British Grand Prix? If not, watch it now. Hey F1 friends, today we are going to discuss a really interesting topic. Verstappen has just exposed Mercedes for British Grand Prix. It would really be interesting to follow this and watch what is going on. So without wasting any time, let us start with the video. But before that, subscribe to our channel if you haven't and hit the bell icon to watch more videos like this. In contrast to Red Bull and Ferrari, the Mercedes cars, although giving the appearance that they had a grip on their porpoising troubles, have nevertheless been bouncing and fighting for speed. During the practice session for the Canadian Grand Prix, Lewis Hamilton even referred to the W13 as undrivable when they were in the middle of doing tests. Before getting into anything, let us first understand what are the features of this car and what are the modifications that have been done in the new model. It would be kind of interesting when we understand the things through the bottom of the context. Okay, let us first deal with this part. Mercedes-Benz, a sub-brand of the Mercedes-Benz Group, has maintained a presence in Formula One from the sport's start in 1954 in a number of positions, including that of team owner and engine manufacturer. Mercedes-Benz has been involved in the sport ever since. As with the 2022 season, the Mercedes-Benz Group will have the main share of ownership in the Mercedes-AMG Petronas Formula One team. The team is authorized to compete in Germany while having its headquarters in Brackley, which is situated in England. The team also has a license from Germany. Toto Wolff has a large stake in the firm and is a major shareholder. A nickname for the teams that are sponsored by Mercedes-Benz is the Silver Arrows, and Silver Arrows is occasionally used to refer to them. The declaration that Ineos wanted to adopt a 1/3 equal ownership position with the Mercedes-Benz Group and Wolff was made public in December 2020, and it entered into effect on January 25, 2022. Wolff was also a party to the announcement. In the years leading up to the outbreak of the Second World War, Mercedes-Benz was a serious competitor for the European Championship and emerged triumphant on 3 separate occasions. The year 1954 was the first year that the brand participated in Formula One races. After gaining victory in their first race together in the French Grand Prix in 1954, driver Juan Manuel Fangio went on to win the Drivers' Championship in both 1954 and 1955. In 1955, he became the first driver to win back-to-back titles. He accomplished the same thing in 1955 that he had done the year before. Despite the fact that they had already won 2 drivers' championships, Mercedes-Benz made the decision to exit the motor racing industry after 1955 as a direct result of the tragic events that took place during the 1955 Le Mans race. Mercedes made its return to Formula One in 1994 as a manufacturer of engines in cooperation with Ilmor, a British independent high-performance autosport engineering company. Mercedes' reintroduction to Formula One was part of the company's long-running history in the sport. It was Ilmor who was in charge of the research and development of Mercedes engines. 1 constructor's title and 3 drivers' championships were won by the company when it was in a works agreement with McLaren, which ran from 2003 through 2009. During the year 2005, Ilmor underwent a rebranding process that resulted in the company being known as Mercedes-AMG High Performance Powertrains. After completing the purchase of the Braun GP team in 2010, the company rebranded it as Mercedes to reflect its new status. In the long history of Formula One, Mercedes has established itself as one of the most successful teams ever. Mercedes has been one of the most successful teams in the annals of Formula One racing ever since the sport's governing body mandated the usage of turbochargers and hybrid electric engines in 2014. This rule change in 2014 was one of the most significant regulation changes in the sport's history. From 2014 to 2020, Mercedes-AMG won 7 consecutive drivers' championships, and from 2014 to 2021, Mercedes-AMG won 8 consecutive constructors' championships. It has set new records for the most wins in a season, 19 in 2016, as well as the most consecutive constructors' championships it has won in a row. Both of these achievements were accomplished in 2016. The fact that the factory has won almost 200 races as a supplier of engines places them in the 2nd position in the history of Formula One racing. In addition, the facility has been in operation since 1950. Both the Constructors' Championship and the Drivers' Championship have been won by Mercedes-Benz engines a combined total of 10 and 13 times respectively. Now, let us move back to our topic. However, these statements were made before Hamilton's performance that put him on the podium, and George Russell's finish put him in 4th place. This raised anticipation for greater speed in a blockbuster British GP race that would be held at Silverstone, which is typically an environment in which the Silver Arrows excel. And in Mercedes' post-Canada debriefing, technical director Mike Elliott said that the 8-time Constructors' Champions would be bringing changes to the circuit for the next weekend, but he remained cautious about their speed. He made the announcement, "We will be bringing new parts to Silverstone. This fills us with a great deal of excitement. We are going to make an attempt to propel the vehicle forward by wringing as much speed as we can out of the components that we now have, as well as the new elements that we are going to add to it in the future." However, at the same time, I feel that we need to be honest with ourselves and say that, at the moment, we are just a little bit behind the frontrunners, who are represented by Ferrari and Red Bull. I believe that we need to recognize this in order to go forward. In addition, I feel that it will be difficult to accomplish so in a regular tournament because of the level of competitiveness. Mercedes made their most recent big improvement in the Spanish Grand Prix, which was also the team's best race of the season up to this point in terms of being able to compete with their speedier competition. Mercedes' most recent significant improvement took place at the Spanish Grand Prix. The next 3 races were more difficult in terms of bouncing, which was made worse by the fact that Mercedes lowered their ride height in an effort to minimize porpoising. This made bouncing much more difficult. On the other hand, the team is optimistic that Silverstone will be less difficult. Elliott continued by saying, "I feel Silverstone will be a circuit that suits us a little bit better, as Barcelona did, but maybe it will be just a little bit difficult. I believe that Silverstone will be a track that fits us a little bit more, similar to how Barcelona did," he said. "We are going to perform to the best of our abilities, regardless of what the result may be. Because we want to go back to winning, our drivers are going to give it their very best effort in order to get us there." A statement was released by Toto Wolff, the team leader for Mercedes, in which he echoed the sentiments that were expressed by Elliott. "We have had a lot of success on the Silverstone track in the past, and the layout of the course for this year is more reliable than the layouts for the 3 previous years combined, but it's not Barcelona. Now is the time for us to rein in our own expectations, put in the amount of work that is required, thoroughly study the data that are accessible, and come up with some suggestions that are applicable in real life, not only for Silverstone, but also for everything that follows in its wake." Nico Rosberg, a former driver for Mercedes, who also won the World Championship, thinks there is no possibility that Mercedes will be able to fight with Red Bull and Ferrari in the British Grand Prix. Rosberg made this assessment after competing in the race. Max Verstappen's goal for this race is to add to the 46-point advantage he currently has in the championship standings. And that brings us to the end of the video. Feel free to let us know what you think about this video. And if you like this video, then please leave a like and subscribe to our channel for all things F1 news. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.